organization wide default settings. Listen carefully. Organization wide default settings. What it is going to control? If I have a table like account, if I have a table called account, in the account I have a couple of fields, like I have name, phone, I have a, I have some couple of records. When you log into this, when you log into the application, which records you can see? If Sham log into the Salesforce account, Sham logged into the application, which records of the account table you can see? Is the Sham is allowed to see all the 3 records? Is the Sham is able to see only 2 records? Is the Sham is able to see only 1 record? Which records of the object you are able to see? Right? If Sham log in, generally on the record what you can perform? Read. What operation others can perform? Read, write. If I am the owner, I can perform delete also. If I am the owner, I am the person who created, I am the owner of the record. If you are the owner, you have a permission to delete. But other people can have what? Read permission or write permission. Now what type of permissions you are giving on the record? Read, write. Now the question is, when a user log into the Salesforce, which records of the table you can see? What type of permission he has on the records? Does he have permission to read the data? Does he have a permission to write the data? This is controlled by OWD. OWD says minimum level of permission that every user in the organization should have. I told minimum level of permission that every user in the organization should have. Minimum level of permission that every user in the organization should have. Minimum level of permission that every user in the organization should have. I am repeating. What is that? Minimum level of permission that every user in the organization should have. Minimum level of permission that every user should have. Look at the point. How do you control this? When you want to control this, let me give you. We are assuming that we have some records. In the account object, I have some records. 111. Who is the owner of the record? 222. Owner of the record is 333. So there are 3 records in the database. 3 records in the account table. On an object, we have 3 records. In an object, we have 3 records. 111. Who is the owner? Shah. 222. Ram is the owner. 333. Kiran is the owner. Look at the point. Right now, listen to the format. Sham logged in. If Sham logged into account, who logged into the account? Sham logged in. If Sham logged into account, which records you can see? Look at the format, boss. In the organization, I have 3 users. Now, first of all, what is the OWD I am giving? First OWD permission. My OWD permission is, I give the OWD as what? When you give the OWD as private, then Sham on account object, what is the OWD give? When you give OWD as private, then when a Sham logged in, what you can see, if a OWD is private, only the owner of the record can see the record, no other user can see the record. Who can see the record? Who can see the record? Only owner of the record can see. Whenever we give OWD as private, only owner of the record can see the record and he can perform read, write and delete. No other user can see. No user can see. So, who will be able to see? Sham when he log in, which record he can see? Only 111 Sham. When Kiran logged in, which record he can see? 333. So, on an object, if we give OWD as private, which record they can see? only the records for which they are the owner. If I give OWD as a private, which record you can see? Only the records for which you are the owner, only those records are visible to you, other records are not visible to you. So when the Sham logged in, he can see 111 Sham. When Kiran logged in, he can see 333 Kiran. I hope you are clear. People have followed this? People have followed this? Right. Take the point. OWD. Organization-wide default settings. Organization-wide default settings. Organization-wide default settings. Default settings. What is the purpose of this? This will specify minimum level of permission of access that users will have on the records of the this will specify minimum level of access that users will have on the records of the object. Minimum level of access that the users will have on the records of the object. First permission we are taking OWD private. If you define OWD as private, all the users in the organization private on an object. You define OWD as private on an object. All the users in the organization can access all the records of the object. For which they are owner. Yeah. If you define OWD as private on an object, all the users in the organization can access all the records of the object, for which they are the owner. So when you log in, which record you can access? The records for which you are the owner, only those records are accessible. Now take this diagram. OWD is private. Now when the Sham log in, you will be able to see 111 Sham because Sham is the owner of the record. When Kiran log in, he can see only 333 Kiran because Kiran is the owner of the record. When a user log in, he can access all the records for which they are the owner. When the user log in, they can access all the records for which they are the owner. When the user log in, they can access all the records for which they are the owner. Let me show an example of this. I am logging into my account like Wilson. I am logging like a Wilson. Meanwhile, in the customer object, how many records are there? Go back. See how many records you are able to see? 9 records are there. How many records are there? 9 records are there in the customer. So go to Setup, Administer, Security Controller, Sharing Setting. Then we are getting organization-wide records. What is the navigation? Setup, administer, security controllers, then we are giving sharing settings, then organization wide defaults. Click on edit. What is the object you are taking? Customer. In the customer object, what is the OWD we are giving? I give OWD equal to. I give the OWD equal to. Now, go back to the customer and see how many records are there. There are many records, right? Now, who is the owner of all these records? Who is the owner of all the records? Owner of all the records is Satish. So what I am doing, couple of records I am making. What are equal to? Wilson. I am changing the owner equal to. Who is the owner of the record? I am similarly trying to change couple of other records. We have Satish. We have Satish. Change the owner of the record. Change the owner equal to. So how many records are owned by Wilson now? There are 2 records for which Wilson is the owner. Remaining records are owned by Satish. Now because Satish is administrator, he was able to see all the records. But when I log in like a Wilson, still you are able to see all the records? Okay. So what is the reason is, look at the point. What is the profile we gave for Wilson? Set up, administer, manage users, profiles, go to manager. In the profile of Wilson, go down, you are finding customer. What is the option? View all, remove that option. When you say view all, modify all, dominate all the permissions, show everything. When you say view all, modify all, dominate everything, show everything. Dominate all the permissions, show. So whenever you want to practice the OWDs, first we need to remove this view all and modify. Remove this view all and modify. Then you come back. Otherwise, what will happen? When you give any OWD, still you will be able to see every record. Now go back to the Wilson. Now view it. What records you was able to see? Only 2. Why? There are only 2 records for which he is the owner. So whenever we give OWD equal to private, whenever we want to give OWD equal to private, then which records will be shown? Records for which he is the owner. Only those records will be visible to him. I hope I am clear. Now he is trying to delete. Why he was able to delete? Because he is the owner of the record. Why he was able to delete? Because he is the owner of the record. Why he was able to delete? Because he is the owner of the record. I hope I am clear. Right. So whenever we say OWD equal to private, only owner can see the records and he can perform what? Read, write and delete. The next one. Next permission. OWD equal to public name. When I say OWD equal to public name, what will happen? I said OWD equal to public name. If I give OWD equal to public name, what is the permission they are getting? When I say OWD equal to public name, every user can see every record in the table. All the records of the object are visible to all the users. So Sham will be able to see 111, Sham, 222. Show every record to everyone. 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 But because the Sham is the owner of the record, he can perform read, write, delete. Because he is the owner, he can perform read, write, delete. The other records. He is not the owner of this record. Because he is not the owner of the record, he can only perform read. So what is it? Whenever you say public read, you can see every record of the object, but records for which you are not the owner, on those records, you can only perform what operation? Read operation. You only perform read, write, delete. So whenever you say public read, what is the meaning of this? When you say public read, every user in the organization can see every record of the object, but on others record, they can only perform read operation. On others record means records for which you are not the owner. Records for which you are not the owner. I repeat the point here. I am giving here OWD. OWD public read. We define OWD as public read. All the users can access all the records of the object. All the users can access all the records of the object, but on others record, they can perform only read operation. When you say OWD equal to public read, all the users can access all the records of the object, but on others record, they can only perform read operation. On others record, they can only perform read operation. People have followed this. People have followed this point. That's what I have given in terms of this. Right? People have taken this. So whenever you say OWD equal to public read, all the users in the organization can access all the records of the object. But on others record, they can only perform read operation. Go back to the structure. Look at this example, public read. So there are 3 records. Shami is able to see all the 3 records. Ram is okay. Kiran is also able to see all the 3 records. But Sham was able to perform only read operation on 222, 333. Kiran is able to perform read operation on 111, 22. Kiran is able to perform read operation on 111, 22. I hope I am clear. People are clear with this? Now, let me show the execution part. Come back to this. How do you go for OWDs? Set up, administer, manage users, administer, security controllers, sharing settings, organization wide defaults. Then we are going for customer. In the customer we have public. I told public read only. When I told public read only, then go back to the Wilson and see what he is able to perform. Now Wilson is able to see what? Who is the Wilson? He is able to see all the records. Even he is able to see the records which are owned by Satish. But what he is trying to perform? Edit on Satish record. Who is the owner of this Divya? Owner of the Divya is Satish. When I click on edit, what it is saying? Insufficient storage. You are not authorized to modify. You are only authorized to see the data. I am trying to delete it. It says insufficient storage. So who can perform the deletion? Only owner of the record can perform deletion. Owner of the record can perform edit. Other users can only perform what? Read. The other people can see the data, but they cannot modify or delete it. That's what we have given as OWD equal to public edit. The next, we are taking same set. We are taking OWD as public read write. We are taking OWD as public read write. When you say OWD equal to public read write, I told OWD as public read write. When you say OWD as public read write, every user in the organization can see every record. Every user in the organization can see every record. Every user in the organization can see every record. But on others record, they can only perform read, write. They cannot perform delete. If you say OWD equal to public read, write, every user in the organization can see everyone's record. Every user in the organization can see everyone's record. On other users, we can only perform read and write. For other users, we can only perform read and write. So when you say OWD has public read write, every user is able to see every record in the object. On others record, they can only perform read and write. On others record, they can only perform read and write. People have followed this. OWD equal to public read write. When you say public read write, every user is able to see every record in the object. On others record, they can only perform read and write operation. Go back to this. Go back to this. Let me define the definition. I am giving OWD equal to public read write. If you define OWD as public read write, every user in the organization can access every record of the object. Every record of the object. Every user in the organization can access every record of the object, but on others record, they can only perform read and write operation. If you define OWD as public read write, every user in the organization can access every record of the object, but on other records, others record, they can only perform read and write operation. On others record, they can only perform read and write operation. Am I clear with this format? Clear for everyone? Am I clear for everyone? So when you define OWD as public read write, every user in the organization can access every record in the object, but on others record, they can only perform only read operation and write operation. So look at the diagram. This is the diagram what we have. People have followed this point? Right. So let me show the security controllers. How do you define the security controllers? Setup, administer, security controller, sharing security. We are dealing with a particular object, records of that object. Get it? Customer, read, write. Then Wilson was able to see, look at the format. Customer, who is the person? Go back to this. He was able to see. Then I got some records here. Click on this. You are able to modify the data. You are able to modify the data. I was able to modify the data. Previously, I was not able to modify, but now I was able to modify the data. I hope I am clear with this format. But when you try to delete, it says insufficient place. You are only allowed to perform read, write. You are only allowed to perform read and write. You are only allowed to perform read and write. You can only perform read and write. I hope I am clear with this. Let us go to the next one. Let us go to the next one. We are going with the next permission. OWD as public read, write, transfer. OWD as public read, write, transfer. OWD as public read, write, transfer. When you say OWD as public read, write, transfer, look at the first point. I cannot give this permission on every object. This permission cannot be given on every object. This permission is available only on two objects. What are the two objects? We can only give this permission on lead and on which object we can give? Lead object and case object. This permission can be given only on the lead object and case object. The OWD public read write transfer, this can be defined only on two objects, that is lead and case. It can be given only on the lead and case. This can be given only on the lead and case. Right. Let us give this. We are taking. If you define OWD as public read, write, delete, read, write, transfer, let us see what is the permission we are getting. Same permissions, but the point is it cannot have all the objects. We cannot give these permissions on all the objects. We can give these permissions only on specific object. If I give read, write, delete, transfer, we can transfer the ownership. Everyone can change the ownership of everyone's record. If I am the owner, I can change my record from Satish to Kumar. If I am the owner, I can change the ownership from Satish to Kumar. But when you say public read, write, transfer, every user can see the record, every user can modify the owner of every record. Every user, your record, you are the owner of the record, I can open and say owner of the record is changed to Satish. So everyone can change the owner of the record. Everyone can change the owner of the record. You are the owner of the record, who is authorized to modify the ownership? You are authorized. But if I give public read, write, transfer, every user can see every record and they can modify, they can read, edit, and also they can transfer the ownership of the record. Transfer, changing the owner from Satish to Kumar, changing the ownership from Kiran to Hari, transfer the ownership. I hope you are clear. So, but this option is available for only which objects? Lead object and case object. Go back to this. I am giving OWD public read, write, transfer. What is the meaning of this? If you define OWD as public read, write, read, write, transfer. If you define OWD as public read, write, transfer, every user can access every record of object, every record of the object, and can perform read, write, transfer on others' record. Every user in the organization can see every record of the object and they can perform read, write, transfer on every record. This permission can be given. This permission is given only on lead and case object. This permission can be given only on lead object and case object. This permission is given only on lead object and case object. This permission is given only on lead object and a case object. This permission can be given only on lead object and a case object. So transfer means changing the owner of the record. If I am the owner of the record, I am changing the ownership from Satish to Hari. If you want to change the ownership, it's called transfer. Transferring the ownership of a record. I hope I am clear with this. Clear for everyone? Any other query from anyone? So this is the diagnosticial representation. I hope you are clear. The next one what we have. So go back and see. This is available only on which object? Lead and a case. Go to the OWD. You can see here. On the lead object we have read, write. Now look at the account. On the account we have that read, write, transfer, order, contract. Again, if you go to case, read, write, transfer. I hope I am clear. This option is available only on those two objects. Next one. OWD public full access. OWD public full access. The point is, this permission is available only on one object. Campaign. Only on the campaign object I can give this permission. This option is available on which object? Only on campaign object. This option is available only on campaign object. If you give this, what will happen? If you give this, what will happen? Every user can access every record of the object, and they can perform read, write, delete, transfer, everything they can perform. When I say OWD has public full access, every user can see every record and they can perform all the operations of the record. Every user can see every record and they can perform all the operations. All of them can see all the records. Read, write, delete, transfer. Read, write. Every user can see every record and can perform read, write, delete, transfer. Every user is allowed to see every record and they can perform all the operations on every record. They can perform every operation on every record. All the users are allowed to see all the records of the object. They can perform all the operations. Every user is able to see every record of the object and they can perform read, write, delete, transfer on every record. But this is available only on which object? Campaign. This option is available only on campaign. This option is available only on campaign object. This option is available only on campaign object. Are you clear about this? Right. So generally on every object, what are the permissions that are available? Private, public read, and write. So on every object, which permissions are available? Private, public read, and write. These are available on every object. Right. Let us go to the next one. Now we are going for one more permission. OWD control by parent. Control by parent. What is the meaning of control by parent? What is the meaning of control by parent? Look at the form. If two objects are connected by master-detail relationship, then will the child object will have owner for the record? If two objects are connected by master detail, the child object will have its own owner. The child object will not have any owner. But if you look at this OWD, everything is saying, are you the owner? Then this is the permission. You are not the owner? Then this is the permission. So all the permissions are controlled based on what? Ownership of the record. If you are the owner, these are the permission. If you are not the owner, these are the permission. Am I right? Entire operation is running on what? Are you the owner of the record? Or are you not the owner of the record? If you are the owner of the record, this is the operation. If you are not the owner of the record, this is the operation. Now we are looking at what? Ownership of the record. We are looking at what? Ownership of the record. But if two objects are connected by lookup relationship, if two objects are connected by master detail relationship, child object will not have its own owner. Child object will not have its own owner. When the child object doesn't have its own owner, then who will be the owner of the record? Whoever is the owner of the parent record, he is the owner of the child record. But how do you define the OWD now? Then we are going for what? Control by parent. So when you say control by parent, whatever the OWD given for my master object, same OWD is applied for me. Whatever the OWD given for my master object, same OWD is applied for me. If two objects are connected by master detail relation, child object will not have its own OWD. Whatever the OWD we defined on the master object, same OWD we are applying on the corresponding child object. Are you getting my point here? So this is what? Controlled by parent. This is what? Controlled by parent. I hope you are clear. So when do you go for control by parent? If two objects are connected by master detail relationship, then child object will not have its own owner. Then I will give control by parent. So whatever the OWD that is applied on the parent object, same will be given on corresponding child object. That's what is mentioned here. Come back. What is the next one that we have? Public full access. What is public full access? You define public full access on an object. All the users can access all the records of the object and can perform read write operations on every record. They can perform read, write, delete, transfer operation on every record. The only this is a what? This is available on only campaign object. This is available only on campaign object. The next. This is available only on the campaign object. What the last one we have here now? Control by if two objects are connected by master detail relationship. If two objects are connected by master detail relationship, then child object will not have new model. Then on child object we define the OWD as controlled by parent. We define the OWD as controlled by parent. When you define the OWD as controlled by parent, whatever the OWD defined on the parent object, same will be applied whatever the OWD we have applied on the parent object, same will be applied on the corresponding child object. Whatever the OWD we have applied on the parent object, same will be applied on corresponding child object. Same will be applied on corresponding child object. Whatever the OWD we have applied on the parent object, same will be applied on the corresponding child object. Same will be applied on the corresponding child object. So, see, campaign is the parent. Only on the campaign object the access will come. When you click with the child object is not a campaign, right? So what permission will come? Public read write will come. Now when I say public full access on the campaign object, OWD on the campaign object is read, write, delete, transfer. Read, write, delete, transfer. Right? This is the full access. When you go to the child object, what we are going to get? Read, write, delete. Read, write, delete. On what? Not on all records. Now I am the owner. You are the child. Now you are the child means you will be able to perform read, write and delete on the corresponding child. But there is a restriction. Okay. Full access is only for campaign object, not on the child object. Okay. So when you say the question is when you say control by parent, campaign is the parent object, then XYZ object is child object. On the campaign we give full access. On that XYZ also will get full access? No. The full access will come only on campaign. The child object, what are the permission we can give on the child? Read, write, at max you can go with the delete. Okay. Now why delete? Obviously when you delete a master record, child records will be deleted. If you remember the master detail relationship, we have one permission here. So as you already asked the question, I'll just go back to the point and show you. At the time of creating a master detail, You had a permission. What is this? Read only. You will select this. If you have the read access on the master record, you can perform create, edit, and delete on child record. So where can you delete a child record? If you have a read permission on the parent, automatically you are getting what? Create, edit, and delete permission. If you select this what? On the master record, if you have a read and write, on the child record, what permission you are getting? Create, edit, and delete. So obviously, if you have read permission on the master, you are getting what? Edit and delete. So what are the permission you are going to get? Read, edit, delete. What is the other permission that is there? Transfer. What is the other permission that is there? Transfer. But child doesn't have any transfer. Child itself doesn't have any owner. Child doesn't have owner. So are you going to have a transfer permission? No. Full access means what? Read, write, delete, transfer. Now we already at the time of creating the master detail only we told on the master record if you have read permission, on the child you are getting edit and delete. On the master record if you are having read and write permission, on the child you are getting edit and delete. So already because of the master detail field only you are getting what permission? Edit and delete. You get my point? On master record if you have read, on child record already you are getting what permission? Edit and delete permission. Right. So it is not about full access, even though it is full access. On a campaign object, right? On a campaign object, we have a child. When you take a child, what is that? Child doesn't have any owner. If child doesn't have any owner, no transfer. What are the three permissions which are left out? Read, write, delete. Read, write, delete. Obviously, read is there. What are the two permissions? Read, okay, edit and delete. That edit and delete automatically you are getting because of what? Master detail. Because of the master detail, already you are getting what? Edit and delete. So what extra permission you will get? No extra permissions. Okay? Fine. So this is the point here. So we have taken control by parent. Let us take one more quick point. I hope you are clear with this format. What are the permissions we have seen? OWD as private, OWD as public read, public read write, public read write transfer, public full access, control by. Now, look at the point. What is the navigation? Setup, administer, security controllers, sharing settings, edit, you are able to control. Now, you are finding one more permission here. What is this? Grant access using hierarchies. When you say grant access using hierarchies, grant access using hierarchy. Look at the permission. In my company, I have manager, manager, HR executive, this is the structure what we created. This is the structure what we created. Now we have 111 user, this is the roles what we have. I have a couple of records. 111 Sham, these are the records what we created. These are the records what we created. Now, these are object, these are the ones. On this object, I defined OWD as private. When you define OWD as private, what will happen? Only Sham can see Sham record, Ram can see Ram record. Now, if I say grant access using hierarchies, if I enable this option, if I select the checkbox, what will happen? All the users who are above you can access all your records. All the users who are above you in the role hierarchy, they can access your record. So, field executive, Wilson. Wilson can access which record? Wilson will be able to see. Then I'm going with Kavya. Kavya can access what? Kavya can access 444. Then I have Divya. Divya can access what? 333. Divya can access only 333. Then I have Ram. Ram can access what? 222. Sham can access what? 111. So what is it? People who are standing above you, on the role hierarchy, they can access every record that is visible to you. Whichever the record that is visible to field executive, that can be seen by field manager. Whichever the record that is visible to HR executive, that can be seen by HR manager. Whichever the record that is visible to HR manager and field manager, that is visible to manager. Why? Grant access using hierarchy. If I am standing above you in the role hierarchy, show me all your records. I can perform read and write. on your records. People have followed this. Grant access using hierarchy. I can access each and every record that is visible to you. I can access each and every record that is visible to the people who are below me in the role hierarchy. Now, if you look at this, by default this permission is what? Enabled on standard object. Am I able to remove it? We are unable to remove. So on the standard object, the permissions are by default enabled. You cannot delete it. You cannot remove it. But on custom objects, you have a choice to enable or disable. On custom objects, you have a choice to enable or disable. On custom objects, you have a choice to enable or disable. I hope I am clear with this. Grant access using hierarchy. If you enable this option on an object, all the users who are standing above you in the role hierarchy, they can access each and every record that is visible to you. All the people who are standing above you in the role hierarchy, anyone who is standing above you, they can access each and every record that is visible to you, and they can perform read and write operation. I hope I am clear. Any further queries? Clear for everyone?